Hey, Dr. Greger, we are live. How are you?
I thought we still had like a minute to go.
I know. I thought we did too, but my husband is behind the scenes and he just went live. So,
All right. All right.
so anyways, yeah, I guess originally we thought you weren't going to be able to come on at all a little bit earlier. That's the information that we got. So we were trying to make sure that we were on. But at anyways, we are here and yeah.
Who told you that I couldn't make it?
Do you remember who our contact person was? Somebody in the emails. We'll check it and we'll let you know.
It's on my calendar.
Yeah, no, I mean that you couldn't make it early. That you couldn't make it early.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, the last interview ended. This is the 11th interview of the day, and the last one ended a few minutes early.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're so grateful to have you here. And I'm just going to go ahead and say hello to everybody. Hello, beautiful people. I am so excited about today's conversation. Joining me is Dr. Michael Greger, a physician, an internationally recognized speaker, public health advocate, and the founder of nutritionfacts.org, which is a nonprofit that reviews the latest evidence-based nutrition research and translate it into an easy to understand language, which I love because I need that kind of help. Dr. Greger is a New York Times bestseller author of multiple groundbreaking books. I've got one right here, which includes How Not to Die. There's How Not to Diet, How Not to Age, as well as 3 other different How Not to cookbooks. And there's several more. His work has played a major role in shifting the global conversation around food, chronic disease prevention, and dietary reversal. So he's known for his ability to take very complex scientific research and make it accessible, empowering, and actionable. Always grounded in evidence, not in trends, everyone. And importantly, all proceeds from his books, his DVDs, speaking engagements, and so on are donated to charity. I mean, that's amazing. So I just want to say Dr. Greger and I met a few times, and most recently we met on the Holistic Holiday at Sea to Alaska. Dr. Greger, thank you so much for being here today. It is truly an honor to have you.
Happy New Year! Tell me what yummy food you got in front of you.
Oh my gosh, I always like to have a nice display of different colored fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, whatever I've got on hand. And so, yeah, we've got everything from delicata squash and
Ooh,
cabbage and greens and peppers and turnips. We've got ginger and fennel, and the list goes on. Blueberries.
Delicata squash is actually one of my favorite squash, so you make me hungry.
Well, if we could reach through, I would definitely make you some and
that's
serve
the
it
downside of this virtual bullshit, right? People can feed me.
All right. Well, I want to just say hello to everyone in the chat. If you have any questions for Dr. Greger, go ahead and put them in the chat. I've got a bunch, but I'd be happy to answer or read your questions, and just put some question marks before and after so that we don't miss it. But so are you good if we jump right into some questions?
Let's jump.
Let's jump. Okay. So Dr. Greger, right? You've debunked, I should say, so many nutritional myths over the years, like carbs make you gain weight and you need dairy for your strong bones, right? What is one myth that just refuses to go away no matter how much science we have? And why do you think it sticks around?
Oh my God! Well, all the myths you mentioned are all sticking around still, but probably the one that's most profitable these days is this obsession about protein. That as if we're not getting enough protein. I mean, they put protein in there's like protein spiked water. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, because they know they can make more money if they put protein on the label. And I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's like, do we have a protein deficiency epidemic? I mean, so 97% of Americans reach the recommended intake of protein. And the 3% that don't, presumably, are just not eating enough food. They're on starvation diets or something. Whereas the stats are reversed for dietary fiber. 97% of Americans don't even reach the recommended minimum daily intake of fiber. So we have this massive epidemic of deficient fiber intake, but it's not like you're going around being like, where do you get your fiber from? I mean, of all the 150 or so nutrients that the USDA tracks in the American diet, the single most widespread deficiency is fiber intake. Yeah, I mean, you hardly even hear about it. I think there's just not a lot of money to be made.
I see. Yeah, that is interesting. You don't hear about where you get your fiber and those kinds of things. And protein, we all need it, but you're right, we don't need it the way that society really pushes for it. So I appreciate that answer so much.
We need 0.8 grams per healthy kilogram body weight. So that's about 45 grams a day for the average height woman, 55 a day for the average height man.
Okay. All right. So what area of nutrition research do you feel is surprisingly understudied? Where do you wish more high quality trials existed?
Everything. I mean, there's everything is underfunded. I'm most interested in disease reversal studies. interventional trials of disease reversal. I think that's just most exciting in terms of capturing people's imagination. So, I think back, one of in the new edition, I've got a copy here in the 10th anniversary edition of what you have there, just came out last week. The 10th anniversary edition of How Not to Die. There we go. I talk about all the most amazing things that's been published kind of over the last, 10 years or so. And, the first thing that comes to mind is Dr. DeNorish's landmark Alzheimer's reversal study that published last year, randomized controlled phase 2 clinical trial, randomizing men and women with early stage Alzheimer's to the same plant-based diet and lifestyle program he reversed heart disease with. And in the control group that made no changes, 100% stayed the same or got worse. Whereas in the lifestyle group, 70% stayed the same or got better. A significant improvement in cognition 6 months later, right? The bottom line is we have tremendous power over our health, destiny, and longevity, and that the vast majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a healthy enough diet and lifestyle.
Yep. And that's through plants.
And what?
And that's through plants.
Plants.
Yes, we need our plants. So let me ask you what you're excited about. What emerging research right now has you most excited? Like something you could, something you think could shift maybe how we think about food in the next decade?
Oh, forget decade. I mean, I don't want to wait that long. We got people.
We want it right now.
We got sick people dying right now. So no, my next major nutrition book is How Not to Hurt on pain management, lifestyle approaches to pain management. That's what I'm working on right now. If I hit the deadline, it should be out December 2026. There's lots we can do to combat pain, and there's very little that conventional medicine has been able to help on that front. So I'm excited for that to come out, and there's powerful dietary approaches and a lot I'm learning that I've never heard about before, and so happy to pass along that knowledge, of course, if I get it done in time.
Okay, wow, that's really exciting. I'm excited to hear about that. And when you talk about pain, is that all over the body, all different areas of the body?
Myalgia, endometriosis, migraines, inflammatory bowel disease, neuropathies, on down the list. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a section you're going to be putting in specifically for small fiber neuropathy?
I think I'm only covering 4 neuropathies. I'm covering shingles, diabetic neuropathy, trigeminal neuralgia. That may be it.
Okay.
Yeah, just 3 then. Yeah. So not doing carpal tunnel. There's a whole bunch of topics I had to cut just because I'm running out of time.
Yeah, well, everybody, we're going to look forward to that, and I can't wait for that to come out. And I hope, like you hope, that it's on time. We do have a question in the chat from Sid Nodder. Hi, Sid. Welcome, and welcome everybody. Her question is: please sum up any pros and cons of GLP-1 drugs that I could share with others.
Sure, I'm happy to. So it turns out that obesity so dramatically decreases one's lifespan that, reducing life expectancy as much as 6 or 7 years, that like bariatric surgery, these drugs should be considered as a last resort for those unwilling or unable to treat the cause of their obesity. The problem is people eat too much crap. And so anything that gets people to eat less crap can be beneficial, whether it's rearranging your insides or taking an appetite suppressing drug. But we don't need to go under the knife or take $1,000 drug to eat less crap, basically. But last year, I published a book on Ozempic and talk about all the pros and cons and encourage people to make their own decisions, their body, their choice.
Yes, and I did see on your page, nutritionfacts.org, you have all of your books there. If anyone is interested in looking at all the different books that you have that you've written, I mentioned some, but there are more. And Ozempic was one of them. What a topic that has been buzzword in our world. So thank you for the question, and thank you for answering. So the problem with popular diet trends, you've reviewed mountains of research. What do you think is the most dangerous popular nutrition trend right now, and why?
I don't know if it's particularly popular, but I mean the carnivore diet. I mean the thought that we should just eat steak all day. I mean it's just it's basically like the flat Earth theory of the nutrition world. It's unbelievable. I mean, but look, if you believe the Earth is flat, you're not going to kill anybody, right? I mean the problem with anti-vax information, disinformation, or carnivore dieters is that when they tell people to eat this way or live this way, I mean, you actually cause actual harm to people. So I prefer people keep their misinformation to benign topics where you can believe all the crazy tinfoil hat things you want, as long as it doesn't hurt people.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and it is really difficult. People get mixed, um, you know, they get a mixed sense of what is the right thing to do, and so that's why I'm so grateful that you're on the channel, because you are sharing the science-based backed evidence of what the right thing is to do. So eat plants, everyone. And okay, so I'm wondering, what is a question that you wish more people would ask you about nutrition, but almost no one does? Is there anything?
Um, I mean, one of the most common questions I get is one of my favorite questions. And that is, how I got involved into it. And I talk about the role my grandma played in my journey. So that's probably my favorite question, but I've been asked that a million times. What don't I get asked? Um, I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't really get to kind of flex my knowledge by being asked these kind of really basic questions. I'd love for someone to be like, ask some super obscure, difficult question, and then I'd be able to like, oh, well, yeah, and then I'd be like, see, I mean, I really know. I don't just have the superficial knowledge. I'm not able to just answer questions like, how do you get your protein? No, I actually have deep biochemical knowledge on the subject, but no one will ever know about it because I'm asked, is fruit good for you, instead of, getting into the Krebs cycle.
Well, anything that you want to bring up is great today. You can share whatever it is. I do have another question from Sid here. Will plant-based diets help with MS remission? I'm reading some new studies that suggest that it will.
Well, you don't have to read new studies. We have the old studies of Dr. Roy Swank that showed the best remission rates for multiple sclerosis compared to any other medical intervention in history, published in the peer-reviewed medical journal, and that is a low saturated fat diet, so cutting down on meat, dairy, and junk. So we followed patients out for 34 years. Best relapse prevention ever published. So absolutely, can a plant-based diet help with multiple sclerosis? We're not exactly sure what's going on, but that may be why it's so effective in helping with neuropathies like diabetic neuropathy, trigeminal neuralgia, both of which, again, the most powerful intervention ever published were these plant-based diets.
Okay. There's been some back and forth controversy around oil. Oil isn't, eat the whole food instead of the pressed oil.
How is
And
that controversy?
well, that's not.
When is it ever better to eat the processed version of anything? I mean,
I
there's
I
rare opportunities, rare exceptions, but
I agree, but I have heard lately that there are some people that think, well, maybe there's certain oils that are good. And one of the questions we have in the chat from Mona Arendt is, can flax oil be part of a healthy plant-based program?
how about yes, and you know how you get that flax oil? Inside ground flax seeds. It's in there, I swear. But you extract it out, and within a few weeks it goes rancid. Whereas you could keep it room temperature for a year in an airtight container, in even in ground flax form, and because it comes prepackaged with antioxidants and everything the way nature intended, it doesn't go rancid. Yeah, just and you're missing out on the lignans, missing out on that viscous fiber that's going to lower your cholesterol. It's just like, why would you throw out all the nutrition? I mean, you're left with some omega-3s, you're left with a little vitamin E. I mean, there's a little left, but it's just like, why would you do that? It's like taking a sugar beet, where most table sugar comes from these days, taking out all the nutrition and just left with the pure table sugar. I mean, so oil is basically the, you know, table sugar equivalent of the fat kingdom. It's like, why would you throw away all that nutrition? It doesn't make any sense. And then you're just getting concentrated calories with very little nutrition.
So any type of oil, it doesn't matter. It's the process of creating it into turning it into an oil that is what we're.
Oh, look, there's some worse than others. So so processed oil, so the deodorization process, where you get corn oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, canola oil. These oils are extracted in a way that produces these toxic byproducts like acrolein and 3-MCPD and trans fats. And so if you're going to do oil, something like extra virgin olive oil would be better. And you get all these wonderful phytonutrients found in olives. But the problem with eating the whole food is there's too much sodium. You can't eat olives because the dozen olives and you like blow through your sodium limit for the entire day. And so I don't know if we can find a way to brine or mature olives without salt, then we get the best of both worlds.
Okay, all right. We have another question here. What advice would you give to people with thinning hair? And I really like that question. Or hair that falls out, and I'm adding that tail on end there.
So you go to Preserving Your Hair chapter in How Not to Age, where I talk about all the kind of secondary causes. There's all sorts of things that can do that, both nutritional and otherwise. Like thyroid conditions, etc. So I go to your local public library and check it out.
Do you believe somebody that's been on thyroid medication for, say, 30 plus years has the opportunity, living a whole food plant based diet, to be able to get off that medication and have their thyroid start again up?
I would be extremely skeptical.
Why is that?
Because presumably the most common cause of hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid gland, is something called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And you would just assume that after that much time, the thyroid gland has been so scarred up that that there'd be no kind of residual function. But there's certainly case reports of people that have been able to, but it's not been formally studied until it's put to the test in a randomized controlled trial. I will remain skeptical.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
You still want to eat healthy regardless, right? So should people with hypothyroidism go on a healthy diet? Of course. Why? Because the number one cause of death of people with hypothyroidism is heart disease, just like it is for everybody else. So you want to eat a heart healthy diet. Now, as a bonus, will it also help with your thyroid function? Maybe, but we don't need it to in order to grab its other benefits.
Got it. Thank you so much. We have another question from Tisha Monroe. Do you think castor oil has uses? And if so, how would you suggest it's used? Is it processed?
It is, yes, processed, and I'm sure there's some industrial uses, but I wouldn't eat it.
Okay, very good. So, if you had to predict one major shift that we'll see in nutritional science or public health in, say, the next decade or even less than that, what would it be?
AI killing us all.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be. There's a public health thing. The destruction of all of humanity. That'll affect public health.
Oh my goodness, you're not kidding. Okay, let's talk for a minute, if you don't mind, about supplements. Um, it's not uncommon for whole food plant-based people to be anemic or deficient in magnesium or omega-3s, etc. Despite eating all the right foods and quantities. Is there a place for supplements in the whole food plant-based lifestyle outside of B12, which is important to take?
the three you mentioned are indeed uncommon. Uh,
Really?
uh,
So I
how
hear
do you
that.
even? Who has a who's eating healthy and has a magnesium deficiency?
Well,
Um, I mean, I mean, yeah, I mean, and even among reproductive age women, only you get like a at most 15% iron deficiency. Um, but there, I mean, there are certain circumstances in which supplementation with all variety of things are necessary. If you're an alcoholic, if you're pregnant, there's certain circumstances. If you don't inadequate sun exposure, you need some vitamin D. Everybody needs to get a regular, reliable source of vitamin B12. But I mean, ideally, we should get our nutrition whenever possible from the produce aisle rather than the supplement aisle.
okay. Let's
You got
see.
magnesium right in front of you. See that salad? That's where chlorophyll, every single molecule of chlorophyll, everything that's green has that's what makes it's got a magnesium sitting right there.
So I'm wondering if maybe when I hear this as being common, because I do hear it from people, is there a possibility that their microbiome is off or the absorption isn't done correctly? I'm not sure, but you're getting all the right things if you're eating this way, making sure that you have enough calories, that you're taking in enough. But I'm wondering, do you think that absorption could be something for people to look into if they're having those issues?
I mean, so we'll take iron deficiency anemia. It's really about iron loss. I mean, that's the primary cause of iron deficiency anemia. It's not you're not getting enough iron. It's you're losing too much. And so for women with particularly heavy periods, they certainly can be at risk. In which case, you want to improve iron absorption by eating vitamin C rich foods with your meals. But I mean, when people say they're iron deficient, typically they're talking about, get a ferritin test, which is kind of a indicator of storage iron. And unfortunately, the kind of normal values are based on kind of a meat eating public, which has higher than healthy values. Ideally, I mean, the reason there's this devil's bargain in evolution that iron is a pro-oxidant. It's a double-edged sword. We need iron to make blood cells, but it causes all sorts of havoc in our body, increased risk of diabetes and heart disease and blah blah blah. Ideally, we want to have low storage levels of iron, but we can't through evolution because we die of blood loss all the time. We're bitten by saber-toothed tigers, and unless we have enough iron to make new blood cells, we're dead. And so our body had to retain all this iron, which now is not necessary. We have blood transfusions. You need blood emergently because you got in a car accident. We'll give you blood. You don't need to have these dangerous levels of iron sticking around. So actually, we want to have as low as possible iron stores without interfering with blood formation. And so, kind of the typical iron ferritin levels you see in people eating strictly plant-based diets, actually the healthiest levels. I mean, actually, you can take people and bleed them. In other words, randomize them to blood donations. You can get significant drop and rapid significant drop in cancer risk. And that's because they don't have all this pro-oxidant iron in their body. So you can decrease risk of cancer by donating blood. And that's because you bring your storage levels down. So actually, that's where we want. We want ideal. Now, not too low that actually affects our blood count. We want to keep our hemoglobin, but so the iron deficiency, you actually maybe have perfect, as long as you're not anemic, have perfect iron levels. We want low iron stores for optimal health.
So having low ferritin doesn't mean you're anemic. It's if you have the other ones that aren't the stores, the
Yeah, no.
hematocrit.
So basically, if your ferritin's under 10 or 12, that's too low. But we want it under 50. And and you can achieve under 50 with eating healthy.
Awesome. Okay, let me see. I have a question over here. What do you feel? What are your feelings about matcha tea?
Fantastic. And in fact, it's even better than regular green tea. Why? Because you're eating the whole tea. You're eating the whole leaf. What happens when you eat green tea? You take the leaves, you dip it in water, and you throw out the leaves. What are you doing? That's like, boiling collard greens and then throwing out the collard greens and just drinking the liquid. Okay, there's some nutrition came out of that, but you just threw away all this. What are you doing? Whereas matcha tea is actually the tea leaf ground down into powder. So you're actually eating the entire tea. The only downside is lead exposure. If you're getting your matcha from an area that recently used leaded gasoline, which is not a problem with green tea in a bag or bulk because the lead in the tea leaves doesn't actually leach out into the water. So it doesn't matter where you get your green tea from if you're not eating the green tea. But if you're taking green tea and putting it in your smoothie, opening up the bag, putting it in your smoothie, or drinking matcha, eating matcha, then you want to get your matcha from a low lead country like Japan, and I would avoid Chinese matcha. Go for Japanese matcha.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you so much. We have another question here. Let me see where it is. Nutritional advice for men with enlarged prostates.
I've got a whole chapter on that and how not to age. I think it's in the preserve your. I don't know if it's in the preserve your bladder function or preserve your sex life chapter, or preserve your hormones chapter. It's one of those. But yeah, I've got a whole section on BPH on
Okay.
enlarged
Well,
prostates.
got to get his books, guys. Get his books.
Go to your local public library. You don't have to buy anything.
Yeah, or go to the library. I love the library. Isn't it great? So, okay, let's talk for a minute about the microbiome. So, the microbiome is important, right? For anyone or someone who may be just starting to eat whole food plant based, how long does it take to change our microbiome to be what it really needs to be for better health?
It depends how bad your diet was before. Probably the most famous microbiome study ever switched people between 100% plant-based diet, whole food plant-based diet, and 100% carnivore meat-based diet, animal-based diet, like 100% all meat, eggs, and dairy, no plants, to 100% plants, and saw within 24 hours a dramatic microbiome shift. And you can imagine what direction when they switched to the animal diet, they got all sorts of terrible pro-inflammatory bugs growing, and they switched them to a healthy diet. They got all sorts of beneficial effects. And so with a drastic enough shift, 24 hours. But for what most people, the shift, you continue to get benefits literally for months. So immediately you have the prebiotics going through your system. That's the dietary fiber found in whole plant foods. But if you don't have enough fiber feeders in your gut, you're going to lose out on the exploiting the maximum potential of your plant foods. So let's say you eat, 100 units of fiber, but you only have enough fiber eating bugs to take advantage of 50% of that fiber. And so they make 50% of all the good, wonderful things that they make that are then absorbed through your colon wall into your system, improve your mental health and suppress your appetite and improve inflammation, all sorts of wonderful things. But no matter how much fiber you're eating, you just don't have the fiber metabolizing capacity. That grows over time. So immediately when it goes in your mouth, you've increased the prebiotic load. And most people aren't eating enough prebiotics for the few good gut bugs they have. But what will happen over time is that you will preferentially feed these good bacteria like lactobacillus, bifidobacteria, these fiber feeders, and they will be fruitful and multiply such that month after month, you'll gain greater potential eating the same amount of fiber, but you'll just be able to use a greater percentage of that fiber till finally you have 100% fiber capacity. And so you're exploiting the benefits of all the good plant foods that you're eating, but it can take time. But that's why the benefits continue to accrue. Even if you're eating the same amount of good plants, is your microbiome can take more and more advantage of it.
That's incredible how our systems are built. And speaking of that, I know that you've got your Daily Dozen app, and it's super, super helpful. But some people have issues with eating beans. Maybe it's that their microbiome isn't ready for all of that. So whether it's bloating or gas or whatever, is there any advice that you would give someone who's having this kind of an issue?
Start slow, right? Even if it's like one spoonful of chickpeas a day, let's start slow. And again, we need to have that bacterial machinery to deal with the fiber coming down the pike. And if you've been eating, cheeseburgers and milkshakes your whole life, you don't got a lot of good gut bugs in there. And so, yeah, start slow. There's some legumes that are less gas forming than others. Tofu tends not to be as much of a problem. Chickpeas, lentils. And there are these you can get these Beano type products that you can drip on foods that pre-digest some of these indigestible sugars that can cause problems. But it's really a matter of just giving your microbiome enough time to adapt. So stick with it. Start slow and then gradually ramp up. I mean, most people can just switch like that. There's only a minority of people that run into these problems, but it's critically important that they stick with it.
So, do you think that soaking your beans for 24 to 48 hours is helpful for that?
Well, I mean, to cook, I mean,
Before you cook them, you soak them and
right.
then you cook
Well,
them.
right. I mean, they just cook quicker, but you don't need to.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I've got a few other questions here. I know we're running low on time. Are you good for that, or should I?
We have, I have 3 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to what I'm calling is the big question here. So beyond diet, if you had to pick one single evidence-based lifestyle intervention other than not smoking or consuming alcohol that offers the most significant potential to slow the overall aging process and reduce the risk of chronic diseases at the same time, what would it be and why would you suggest it?
Exercise.
Oh, I love that. Any particular type of exercise?
Aerobic exercise. Even
Really?
moderate intensity aerobic exercise. I encourage people to walk. Pretty much
Yes.
anybody can do it, and you get tremendous benefit. Yeah.
And I know you used to walk a lot on your
I'm on my
treadmill.
treadmill right now. It's just turned off because people complain I was making them seasick, bobbing back and forth. But
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, any last questions from anyone? Nope, it doesn't look like it. So I truly, truly appreciate your time here today with us. And I just want to invite you back anytime that you have some time to share. And I have so many more questions. It's really been so much fun, Dr. Greger. Thank you for joining me and our audience today for such a great conversation. And I want to say thank you so much for your decades of work to advancing evidence-based nutrition and public health. Again, just anytime you'd like to come back, I have so much to learn from you as well. And thank you to everyone who has joined us live today or are watching this as a replay. I do hope that this conversation gave you clarity, curiosity, and confidence to keep asking questions, everyone, and seeking evidence-based answers. So,
I love it.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, like I said earlier, be sure to explore Dr. Greger's work at nutritionfacts.org and check out all of his books, including How to Survive a Pandemic, Lower LDL Cholesterol with Food, and he's got so many on there. These books are truly foundational resources. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to tell everyone, don't forget to eat your greens. And like I always say, please give plants a chance. They won't let you down. Take care, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye, Dr. Greger, and thank you so much.
Woohoo!
He's still on.